Do you type your email in? And you don't want to be on the image.
No, thank you. You don't mind email, right?
Say that again?
You have my email?
Yeah.
Okay.
Send it out in a second. All right, it's sent out.
I haven't gotten it yet.
I definitely sent it out.
No, I'm sure you did. I'm just maybe my email just sucks. Oh, got it. Sorry.
Yeah, there's some.
Okay.
All right. Is everyone ready?
Yep.
First, government must be practical, cannot concern itself with metaphysical questions. Its only role is to protect citizens' interests. Why number 5? Political philosophy is practical for action must consider concrete condition for realization for the appearance of frame institution by which a multitude are regulated. Political action, the whole body conflict, and some rules rather than start free person represent apply interest therefore need justification. 2 impacts. A. Government actions will inevitably lead to trade-offs between citizens and it benefits harm others. The only justified way to resolve conflicts is by benefit that the possible number of people since anything else would unidentified as one group with another. Those also prove scientific theories are used for states and inevitably violence and constraint. Even if utopia is not consequential, more theories prevent any action which works not be able to use utopia. B. People psychologically prefer utopia government, so often to use it. Genome 8. The studies provide strong evidence how the fact of just the behavior often lead people to see the decision of different people see it from allow decision how to determine decision quality. This answer standardizes proves utopia is not counter true or hard to calculate since most people already believe in it. Second, no act should be seeking for states. Sunseat 6. Unlike individual governments, most choice face trust from regulatory bodies, while government permission prohibition will authorize bad action, not refusing out the exchange to authorize and authorizing films here what the government fully forbids private action but not fully discouraged. Third, psychological evidence proves that we don't identify future self-constituted person identity against OPAR 14. Humans are not a consistent identity, but so we serve future self-determining affirmative study activity people imagine for as future and present areas of framework activity subject thought and self state that in the future you're actually going to describe yourself in an active certain way to describe identity says we can our future self and someone else are just to make people how we treat other people to approve utopia. A. Denies constitutive standards. Agents cannot identify inescapable rules because of their based on their makeup as agents because agents are the same over time. B. Tiebreaker. Give more credence to psychological evidence versus empirical science over abstract moral theorizing. Fourth, experiencing only sound justification for Schwartz. Psychology offer evidence to humans have any capacity to guard knowledge except by empirical source. There's no knowledge of market sensitive experience of humans are confused presentation that we rely on other normal our sense how things are. We don't have the capacity and subject to our pure knowledge. Thus the standard is maximizing expected well-being. Advantage 1 is prolif. Allies in Asia perceive U.S. as withdrawing from the region. Declining assurance sparks prolif as a national security guarantee against China and North Korea. Crowley 16. Asia loses selection of atomic nature. Japan, South Korea, Taiwan are losing patience in international efforts for atomic Pyongyang's program. China governments increasing by the U.S. which has protected for decades on nuclear umbrella, may become less reliable ally than anti-nuclear taboos of being over business as China asserts nuclear or who claims Obama has nationalized Beijing forcing the American rhetoric the positive question American security commitment and feels so good to develop hedging strategies for the little hurdles that remain barriers to Japan acquiring nuclear weapons. The same conversation for each South Korea Salk and no longer highly by. Nuclear powers are prerequisite and prolif and nuclear terror safeguards are uncertain and nuclear power weakens some. Miller and Siggy 9. The technology and building bombs spread terrorists are driven by their ability to stabilize more people in the nation, right? We will reach a point with the center, not all 30 states operating nuclear power plants, radio, other have required technical system report. So nuclear technology spread across more states, after reporting energy is occurring with much concern about non-proliferation of the NPT and religions should have attacked by global terrorists and test by production charts in North Korea, Iran, competence in NPT, to be rising out interest in nuclear powers expanding, which country will possess facility for enriching nuclear, uranium, or reprocessing plutonium that can be used to produce materials and nuclear bomb, how can physical production nuclear materials and terrorist nation be ensured. Nuclear control will be strongly influenced by international organizations, and international organizations. Asia proliferate ways multiple nuclear war scenarios. Corona 16. Nuclear weapons might be used. Nuclear use could over 70-year tradition of non-use result in the large-scale destruction set of President James how nuclear weapons are viewed. Texas has to danger escalation being planned by multipolar nuclear warning, which also quickly draw multiple each with a bigger nuclear conflict of interest. In emergently independent of the other states, strong dimension conflict. One nuclear power not just across the red line out. Third nuclear power one Kentucky nuclear strike on one of the superpowers. Nuclear powers could be brought face to face in peak crisis, multipolar nuclear crisis not without the historical precedent. Accidents are likely in both global and with intentional wars. Case 15. Deterrence compel us and reassurance are critical in accident risk in nuclear war because of technical computer malfunction, misinterpreted signals, and methanic and technical problems. Communication control system. U.S., China, and Russia form a trilateral. Advantage 2 is hedge. Surge in nuclear energy challenge the NPT. Miller taking on. Now, the nuclear energy is occurring with founding concern about non-proliferation. The NPT and related distributed impacts by global terrorists and test by project crises. And yeah, cut the card there. I read the rest of the card above. Asian prolif causes wildfire prolif, which collapses the NPT and crushes U.S. credibility in Asia. Santoro 15. The challenge ensures that its dark and region a critical factor is perception of potential war, nuclear use, and growing development. High level allies to see which the U.S. will continue to protect and grow Kyoto. Continue to develop Chinese modernizing military gap between the U.S. and allies and large allies new space advantage South Korea might develop by nuclear artists who would eviscerate the remaining credibility of NPT loss of confidence. The U.S. has a security guarantor in the Northeast Asia would send reformation across the entire U.S. alliances and development. Unix 5. Japan is not far-fetched, but possesses blatant ability to develop programs quickly. NPT is key to hedge global compliance, strengthens perception of U.S. primacy. Given 16. The regime was established by the hegemon security treating interests in the regime success and all of the states because hegemon role within the regime. All other states which associate the regime with the hegemon's leadership. Their hegemon has greater security interests than other states. The value of the absolute gains are not equal. They are much greater hegemon. Hegemon sees global dream pull up anywhere weak to the hegemon. More broadly, the non-proliferation regime is the linchpin of hegemony. Gap 15. The objective of the U.S. remains simple to find other states regardless of political affiliation of developing nuclear force in the U.S. sphere. Deliver nuclear attack on an accident, launch an event, nuclear steam by threat, the nuclear weapon to draw the U.S. into a conflict which is Zhao want to be involved. The U.S. worried about the emerging nuclear tipping points whereby one key state might lose fortune of 5 others should do the same. And it is easier to control others and nuclear weapons that depend on the U.S. only great powers possess in economic technology and bureaucratic capacity build robust command and control capabilities. U.S. leadership prevents great power and existential governance crises. Brooks, Eikenberry, Wolf for 13. Deep engagement, get leverage to restrain partners with direct action, lies commitment to states without expansion. Your shock forecast multipolar regions come to the competition are great arms and great power war each. Europe, Israel, Egypt, Saudi Arabia might take action. The U.S. should come when intensify security levels, which is okay. Destabilize reaction, trying to optimize so what happened to the U.S. and trying to depend on restricting consumption on state private subversion research, possible to other science, to arrest studies, even states are relative to remaining in the competitive withdrawal of America will yield stability, good power, won't see proxy war supply, see risk of accidents, go over actually academics to spin out of control. The U.S. will play the key one counter China argument that U.S. security commitments are necessary, countered by a lot of scholarship. Thus, the plan, the Republic of Taiwan, the People's Republic of Japan, and the Republic of South Korea should ban the production of nuclear power. The risk of growth in Asia is high and growing. States have the capability to weaponize, and there are no checks. White 14. Nuclear danger growing in our region. Nuclear danger investigation. Nuclear power prevents expanding fissile materials used and transmitted throughout the region. Burning peninsulas, number nuclear hotspots. South Korea is raising nuclear security concern. Japan is home to a stockpile of weapons useful uranium. Each state should make extraordinary efforts to increase national accountability. Underview. After the RBIs, A is time to speak, the 2 hour doesn't have enough time to cover both theory and substance, and the 2 hours twice as long, so I have half the offense I need to debate. I should be able to left speed. The 1 hour is too short to read theory, especially I had to cover the bunch of shell. I need to know RBI for theory is which is key to equal access is valid. C, the act is always interpreted theory since I have to take a stance on some interpretations. RBIs are key to check frivolous theory, key to discussion on topic, which is key to education, ensures the act gets access to the 1AC.
Okay. Ready for process?
Yes.
Let's discuss the plan text. C, defend those 3 countries. Prohibit the production of nuclear power?
That's correct.
Okay, let's discuss the RBI thing actually quickly. I want you to defend it, that all countries prohibit it.
No.
Okay, then how does the C point apply? I checked my interpretation through cross-ex, and you just chose it.
So if I were, what would have I accepted the entire AF goes away? The possibility of the AF coming into the round with no understanding of NC strategy and then having to drop their entire AF is nonsense.
Sure, that's fine. Let's discuss the prolif advantage. So the argument here is that countries like China, Taiwan, etc. will get weapons and threaten other countries with them.
Threaten other countries, perhaps. That's part of our impact scenario. These countries, if they acquire nuclear weapons, would increase the risk of accidental wars because of miscalculation and lack of command and control systems.
Where do you show that nuclear power bans are actually effective and don't get circumvented, for example, or something? I think you just forgot to read solvency for your AF.
No, we definitely read arguments that said preventing nuclear power is key to preventing.
Yes, where do you show that a prohibition actually prevents it and countries would just circumvent it or use coal?
So we didn't read a card that says the literal prohibition of nuclear power is effective to prevent proliferation in Asia. However,
okay, but other countries like Germany, Australia, etc. all obviously had nuclear weapons, and they've taken efforts to ban nuclear power. Where do you show that with that checked proliferation in those countries?
So the countries that you listed before had acquired nuclear weapons and then banned nuclear power. However, these countries do not currently have nuclear weapons.
Wait, so do they currently have power?
Yes.
Okay, if they don't currently have weapons, then how is the app inherent?
So it says that they are going to proliferate. Our quarterly evidence, which is from this year, a couple months ago, says that declining U.S. credibility in the region is why they are seeking to proliferate.
Sure, that's fine. The hedge advantage, so the impact is U.S. hedge, right?
Yes.
What's this, when have we ever had a great power war? Like we've lost U.S. hedge, like when the U.S. was like isolationist before. How come this didn't cause a great power war then?
Sorry, say that again?
There was isolationism over long periods of time. Why did that cause great power war?
When was isolationism a big thing?
Like, I don't know, like the early 1900s.
So the world wars were instances of great power wars. Also, the
then
US
why didn't that cause extinction?
Also,
we seem perfectly
we
fine.
didn't have nuclear weapons back then. Also, the U.S. wasn't the hegemon back then.
Sure. The framework just says consequentialism. Why did they justify util?
So you're right, the judgment justify util, but it would exclude frameworks that said there's a distinction between acts and missions, such as deontology.
Okay. You say that government actors will always have some type of trade-offs. Could the U.S. all of a sudden just give all of its money to like Africa for the sake of solving poverty, even if like could the state just do that even if it was net beneficial?
What do you mean it could or could not?
Like, could the state just one day decide to give
Why
all
is
its
that
money?
relevant to the framework?
Because even if something's net beneficial,
Yes, it could do that. Yes.
Really? It wouldn't violate some constraint to its people?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Also, that's not relevant to the app because it's about existential risk, which kills everyone.
That's fine. I'm sorry for 110, it'll be 3 and then the case. I'll send you the doc. On case, it'll quickly be the RBI stuff, then straight down. Okay, let me know when you get the doc. All right. I'll reply also if you get some. Okay, set. Oops. Can I use your stand?
Yeah, sure. All right, I'm good.
Okay. Oh, I have to put the password. Does anyone, any of the judges need the doc right now? I can put the password in if anyone needs it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, here you go. Yeah, sorry, it's the password. Okay, so then, oh, I forgot yours. Sorry. Okay, so 3, then the AF. On case, it'll be the RBI, then just straight down the AF. Okay. You good?
Yeah.
Are the judges good? First of all, the libertarianism, NC, I negate and value moral state action, morality requires committed to end in itself. It's the most fundamental duty. Other obligations are based on certain conditions. Angstrom. The exercise that correct reason sees from universal particulars. The application of universal law should always be the direction. We must consider most basic practice self-conception. It's inappropriate to make it duty presupposed relations. An obligation depends on contingent conditions, which case we consider first duty attachments fundamentally in virtue of our standing as persons and an identity like debate or friend requires about our own personhood. Course guard. Let structure prime force of ourselves. It is deliberate that we something to choose over. We choose to desire upon the conceptual identities is a description upon your value yourself and how you might like with living practical identities. Thus, the standard is respecting liberty. I can say the burden of proof when denies freedom since first, once nuclear power might cause harm, there is no intrinsic feature nuclear power justifies violating freedom. Worthington shows. As any technology more is less purpose using it, mistakes made in the nuclear industries as a proven source of reliable energies, it's reckless to rule it out entirely. Second, the state lacks authority to ban nuclear power. It can regulate harms, it can't have full prohibition, which goes against state authority. Steal. Libertarians share the same fundamental energy policy, the privilege of persecution for autonomous power leads people themselves to choose the anti-nuclear movement to coercion and nuclear energy is the only possible interpretation of categorical opposition to nuclear power as there's no demand for it. The NC also turns the case and sets the stage for all global violence and powerful states. It means that they could go to war in the first place. So fighting back the state is to be ever ensure we solve the benefits. Next off is T. Interpretation. The app has to defend that all countries prohibit the production of nuclear power and may not specify to any particular country or set of countries. Counterplans that prohibit production of nuclear power for all countries except one are theoretically illegitimate. Countries, a generic pair plural with YD. Countries, plural form of countries, and there are clause in the last specification, Nebel 1. So now for these articles, bear clause, there's no article demonstrative, possession quantifier. The violation, they count only 3 countries, obviously other countries have power. C, that benefits first precision. A plural noun phrase includes all and doesn't last specification, Nebel 2. A plural noun phrase for more than one bear clause, black determiners. Debaters are smart persuaders in general. This is a pair of plurals. The resolution of pair of plurals made by the governments in general ought to. And semantics is a voting issue. Outweighs their often top category justifies semantics practice topic directly. Nebel 2. Or 3, sorry. Top category justice standing approach here is really prep against any other resolution. That's the base of preparation, educational benefits are compassion proposition beforehand. Pragmatic to the entire topic. Second is utopian fiat. They fiat preview acting independently with no cooperation, no solvency. Every shows your apples out of literally nowhere, which shows they couldn't actually engage. And the voter itself to engage in clashing over topical propositions. Reject the debate drops into our advocacy separate out of the 180 restart the entire round with a new advocacy, no RBS, they have a T-vote edition with green topicals, obviously an expectation, not saying you should overall me for just winning off it, and competing interpretations, one arbitrariness, reasonability, is right mind, but it's not by one debater over the person, which collapses to competing interpretation. Second, it's interviewed norm setting, applicants are waiting out of action engage, so way better obligations. Third, obviously, China reps critique the African trail of China as a threat legitimizes the other rising power politics, which transform our conception of China into a social reality. Panel 4. China relationship to U.S. fascinating subject, U.S. China scholarships argue fiercely over what China precisely is. They believe China is the noble object. I want to question public assumptions. shared by China scholars, the US and China's threatening are linked to US policymakers themselves. They are not value-free, objective descriptions, always self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's a voting issue question reps the for the past plan. They do not get to weigh the case representation about China shapes understanding, which recreates the harms they criticize. Reps our power question. Love middle 4. The group in Congress identifies anti-Chinese gather trying to determine the numbers taken together when members of Congress threat uncritically. They led to drastic oversimplification of debate on ignore China policies. The rhetoric dominates discussion of China promises to deform the country's China policy. The case. The organized legislature 8.6 times to be first, faster, more efficient, solves their offense. The fact you can't cover is not a reason being practically unfair, which means they have no offense. Second turn, they frame the entire debate. You have to choose a plan text. Means they can choose literally anything to which to excuse the entire debate. Your second response, you can't read through in 1 hour, but the 2-hour collapse solves back. You can go all in 2 hours for 3 minutes. Means I'll give a split 2 hours, which is comparatively worse. Your season points take stance to an issue. Pick a better interpretation. Sorry, your apple's unfair. You give your whole resolution after women red tea. Now, the framework. Place the framework over first, the NC controls the internal link. If people are free, they can't experience benefits. Overall happiness presupposes a certain age of experience of happiness. You stuck in a terrible condition. You can't have happiness in the first place. So we operate at a higher level to ensure we actually get the benefits. They discuss overall. Second, Navalny on the first justification is Ronheimer. One, this goes negative. You decide constraint states with public justification. You were in terrible conditions. You would never join a state in the first place, which means the NC is how we ever get there in the first place. Second, there are certain side constraints like the Constitution. Cross-sex was devastating. He had no answer to the question what it would take you to Africa to promote free speech. Which shows there's certain side constraints here. Your second justification, direct mission distinction. One is agential responsibility, for example, killing versus allowing is not the same degree because I will a certain act of my volition, which shows more involvement in certain action. Second goes negative. States have an obligation to ensure freedom. They can all of a sudden care about emissions, for example. We're not responsible for all hunger across all of Africa, which means fewer emission. Your third justification, psychological evidence. One, the narrative of your identity is true. We often live our own life, we do our own stories, which shows psychologically there is personal identity, which disproves the arguments. Second, this goes negative. Freedom is how we ever have no identity is true. We'll make sure we can be free because it's the only non-arbitrary basis to ensure we can actually live a good life in the first place. Your fourth justification, empiricism, but it goes negative. Freedom is how we ever will in action in the first place. Also, it's not true because if someone doesn't see something they know from the parents, it's obviously true. Now, place an overview versus plan flaw. Should does not discover policy option. Plan X should Palestine wise declare it. What do you think should express the speakers as subjective viewpoints? Ought to is more objective use to represent things of law to outright more emphatically sound. Vote negative on presumption the plan doesn't do anything and it feels education not your jurisdiction didn't do anything in the first place. Second, the plan has no solvency. Process was devastating. Alex literally didn't read any why the app's a good idea. It's all just harms towards the reason why the app actually works. There's no reason to go to app. Skip the circumvention card. Now prolix. First impact defense, no accidents occur. The fact of nuclear power for so long, nuclear weapons shows that accidents are very likely to their scenario shows accidents are not likely. Second impact from proliferation is the deterrence. Degramer 11. Fear proliferations unfounded in their states. They will make nuclear weapons and have chosen not to construct them, which illustrates seriousness. Nuclear weapons help insecure states feel more secure. All states not strike first. Third term, regional proliferation, friends, fire warfare, pain, rights. Evidence suggests and challenge highly motivated nuclear weapons can be sent to turn WMD attacks in the Gulf War, nuclear turn spreading rocks, these chemical biological weapons that inflicted horrendous casualties, market casualties. Now, the second hedge advantage first impact defense, no great power war, Aziz 14. Throughout World War II, never faded telling this, the possibility of those ever passed through the studies, you'll definitely become more fallen. MSDs trying to keep sending to launching, accident happening possibility is very remote. Second hegemon, they turn the impact hegemon seek war to prove their dominance, preemptive strikes, Robinson 13. The doctrine of force one by this with great power to just like aggressive forces and pursuit hegemonic interest just exaggerated by the non-existent threats. The doctrine of preemption to obtain part obvious by the means which the hydrogen powers can redefine aggression. Mark aggression. And I skipped the Musavar card below it.
Did you skip the Aziz card too?
No, I read Aziz.
You read Aziz.
And Robinson, and I skipped the circumvention card.
Right, okay.
And I skipped Oaks. Everything else I read.
Alright. Ready?
Yep.
What's the alternative to the critique?
It's just a reason why your representation is flawed. So it's to reject. It's basically to reject the app. Okay. It's not really an alternative. I don't defend some worldview. So it's just like a voting issue and a reason to reject.
So that's just why is it that some part of our representation was flawed is the reason that we should lose the debate?
Sure. The Lubbock evidence is fantastic. The representational discourse about China shapes our realities.
Okay. It says it shapes our reality, but why does it mean that we should lose the debate?
If your framework is true and mutual matters, and you recreate the conditions you criticize, you're in.
Okay, so your argument is that
also fiat is illusory. Voting app will never do anything. But the scholarship
that wasn't an argument made. Let's talk about
but it's an answer to cross-sex
the theory interp. Theory interp. It says that semantics come first.
Yeah.
Why is it that the why is it that the app needs to entail the resolution rather than simply be an instance of the resolution?
Sure, the enable to evidence preempts that and takes it out. That a plural noun phrase includes all. For example, common usage. If
Yes.
an ordinary speaker of
I
English,
understand that. Look, I understand that this can be a bare plural requires that we defend all of these. Why is it that the app needs to entail the resolution? That we need to prove the entire resolution.
That would definitely
rather than just be
sure. That links to the enable 3 evidence. The topicality rule. People wouldn't be able to anticipate an app like this. If I went to new app,
okay, so this is a limits argument. We did have a solvency
partially a limits argument. And you did not have a solvency advocate. There was none in the app. I'll pull up the app.
All right.
It literally just says.
Okay, let's move on to the NC. You said that the NC turns the case because powerful states always go to war.
No, that was not the argument. The argument was that if you increase state power, it increases the odds of states doing bad things.
Why is that?
Like all the 1AC harms evidence shows that once if states have more power, they can do worse things, which is a systemic reason why the NC links to the app framework.
Okay, so does the NC out that we've decreased state power, or that when there's any increase of
I defend the status quo. I defend the status quo.
You say practical identity. Why is the fact that we value our own personhood require that we value other people's personhood?
Sure. That's basic universalizability. If I will an action upon myself, I should
where was that warranted in the NC?
Well, that's Korsgaard's entire argument. Like it even says, a reflective structure of the mind forces the conception of ourselves.
Exactly.
If that's not a warrant, I don't know what it is. It literally says
for ourselves, but why does that mean it extends to other people as well?
It says that you have a desire, you
okay,
choose to act on, which shows other people also are affected.
Right. How do we determine the intrinsic purpose of something?
The contention to be clearly explained. The working evidence is very specific. Nuclear power is not by itself bad, in that nuclear power by itself is just like splitting an atom.
All right. So your Worthington evidence says, as with every technology, there are more appropriate and less appropriate ways of using it. This seems to be very obvious that there are different ways of using technology.
Yes, that is exactly the negative argument.
How do you determine what is the appropriate way? Like, what is the function of a nuclear power?
The point is that there's no appropriate function of it. The point is that nuclear power is not perfect, but a full-out prohibition means the onus is on you to show that it's intrinsically bad. Otherwise, it violates freedom. And libertarianism says the same with the opposition, not the defendant.
Starting prep.
Okay.
Status of the critique.
like I said, there's no direct alternative to it. It's just a reason why your scholarship is bad.
So you can kick this argument whenever you want.
Well, it's a voting issue. I would say that if you, I will go for it unless you make policy making arguments against it. So if you can see the critiques framing, I will go for it. Seems reasonable to me.
Stop prep. 138 left. I'm sending it now.
Okay, what's the order?
Just 1 second.
Oh, sure.
Alright. The order is plans bad. Then,
Able to?
yeah, sure. Util.
It's not.
Then prolif, hedge, RBI's argument.
Wait, so you're starting on able to though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Then util, prolif advantage, hegemony advantage, RBI's debate. Then NC
Let's get some more paper.
for representations.
Okay. I'm just gonna fix that machine for sure here. Okay.
So this interpret is going to be modified a little bit.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah. Is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Counter-interpretation, the affirmative must defend that a government or a group of government implement a policy that prohibits the production of nuclear power within their country and disclose all broken plain text and abandoned full text in the NDC wiki. Over 14, quasi-policy proposition, expressive value, general policy, quasi-policy, describe policy, topic, describe policy, actual terms like God, be rights, central level, plain text, change the issue of evaluation, affirmative can't prove the resolution is valid, the resolution will obviously final policy application, they should present a plan and are interpreters good. One, their interpret over limits and would only allow a single app on the topic that bans nuclear power in every single country. The United has, if the preference can win every single debate since they can reduce as to any country's spec is would counteract that. Two, specificity, their interpret means empirics over the resolution in general, which excludes concrete evidence arguments that the resolution in general overly vague, which kills relevant education that requires concrete evidence comparison. There also be resolved, there's no standard for abstract example comparison, which kills fairness since it leads to arbitrary outcomes and plans force the next research specific answer, which builds in research skills is valuable any field of almost all other forms of education. Their interpret is repetitive debates that destroy education now. Their interpret one equal assumes that plans have to be sufficient to prove the resolution, which is false. Plans are just instances of over 14 equal plans. The definition of will enter the entail resolution. It's not clear that I have the intent to find the articles about counting different express bounds are common. The must be an example of the topic. Consider the topic of how energy power should be curtailed specifically and down until the true generally. That would direct any plans to need power. It's considered probable, not topical, and bare blur specific contexts are existential. Class B97, existential reading are available. Bare blurs in case of context for our situation. Now we kind of existential reading for bare blurs. In context previous concept, not explain the resolution requires specific context. New power prohibition should only be in the context of current law and proliferation. And now lit checks their offense or advantage has to be based in the literature, which means that they definitely have dissets and semantics collapse and desirability. Unique context debate means we should define terms on how they serve as a person debate, not which is determined in the voters' comfort. 87. It's widely held that they're working out the multiple case law might be appropriate with the field of debate transmission of parties. As for definition or like little ones who want to consider the purpose and initiate discussion that daily usually becomes focus and voter for education and fundamental participate out, which fairness ensures that it's the only thing we take away rather than as a target that's isolated LD and voter for fairness axiomatic that again now the case extend the case extend our overall evidence to prove that the NC is incoherent because Asians don't have a single coherent identity that can be extended over time proves that this proves the practical identity argument. The only answer that says that identity can be constructed by a narrative, but this is nonsensical even if it's a narrative the person you were before makes no sense. It's not the same as you were today. That's proven by FMR studies who prefer the empirical studies, empirics because they are better than abstract moral theorizing, show what people actually think and extent of trade-offs argument. People are inevitably have government something trade-offs between citizens. They have otherwise they arbitrarily benefits on Harvard lives that proves the anti-paralyzed action and their arguments about intentions don't apply to states. One states are collective actions, a collective people who may have different intentions. That proves it's fatal. Second, states of legal fictions are constituted by the individuals, even if it's made up of individuals, it's irrelevant because it's an institution that surpasses the individuals. Now on the prolific advantage, we're not going for it. There's we'll see that there's no accidents because of we'll see there's no accident because of empirics. Now the hegemony advantage, they say hegemony has on C4. That's not true. Our hegemony evidence are brings a lot for leveraging evidence for its preferable. One, empirics to show that the past 2,000 years of data show that hegemony has decreased the risk of war. Second, hegemony has decreased the risk of war because they deter enemies, ensure fast reaction times are friend. The conflicts don't they have no empirical evidence. They say plan ball one, this doesn't mean you vote negative. There's still vote after the risk of offense. Second, the plan ball will be fixed in the real world, which shows that they have no offense. Three, should implies should imply some moral obligation as defined by Merriam-Webster dictionary, which ensures that this is coherent with the odd argument. Now, the RBI argument said that actually not good. One, collapse of util, the right to set ends meeting without material condition necessary for freedom. Two, non-Unionist state exists and imposes taxes for the military and for education means one more violation doesn't violate freedom. Now and their practical identity argument has no impact. There's no impact to contradicting your identity. And on their contention level, we can't know the inherent form of nuclear power absent empirical reasoning energy that doesn't exist in a vacuum. And the purpose, and it doesn't matter that this is just a consequence of nuclear power. Their evidence in the context of individual, not government action. The consequence of public institutions have on the ability to pursue their ends. Obviously, matter can't allow industry that threaten life means the affirms the case. They have no intention for such distinction. Makes them prove that next case. Now the Ref's argument one, affirmative debation center on what the action plan is good or not. That's key to engage with the top here. Focus on Refs. We want to see authorship debate on predictable since there is a number of representations. They could criticize two threats or real Raffi notion security bureaucracy later for any spread what is basically cloud barriers. Why? Security rules body especially rational option growth drive behavior test formalization transparent transparent. Also reject Ref's book.
Okay. Delete everything you did here, please. Okay, so I had, what I have, 111, I think. I'll start that. Just to make sure I understand the answers to the NC, they were that, what were the answers to the NC actually, that we can't coerce, the coercion's fine?
No, I mean, they're in the doc. Like, first it collapses in util because the right to set ends is meaningless without material conditions needed to act on your ends.
Okay.
And it's not unique, all those arguments in the doc.
Sure.
Also made the argument that you can't determine the intrinsic purpose of something absent empirics, which proves that, the purpose is irrelevant. Oh, and the last argument is that there is no intent foresight distinction.
Actually, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not reading anything new. It'll be topicality starting on the multi-actor fiat standard, then the counterinterpretation, and the critique, the case. Get my sheet to okay. So, is everyone good?
Yes.
The Piliero put itself in an awful place. They basically brought an entire critique and conceded a standard on topicality. Then they did literally no Piliero ranks. So as long as they're in the multi-actor fiat stuff, it's game over to extend more than pragmatics away semantics. Their semantic stuff doesn't actually apply. I'll have offense on pragmatics. They're getting crushed here. They consider the multi-actor fiat standard. Utopian fiat standards and the second it benefits. Their rap is an incredibly unrealistic fact that it's written by multiple countries, Japan, China, etc., who all don't like each other. Shows that they couldn't actually occur. They had no solvency. Shows they couldn't actually engage. Impact practice outweighs their offense. Ace of point strength and blink. All but deep other counter standards, but they have literally no response to multi-actor fiat. I don't know how they dropped that in the 1AR, but they sure did show they can actually get responses. These points impact back to the voter. They conceded substantive engagement and have no offense back to that. I literally can't engage the app and defend multiple actors who don't ever agree with each other, which makes it impossible. Season point controls the direction of all your impacts. All your plans should presuppose a realistic plan. If the plan never occurs, means you don't get real education, which is where you probably lose around because you conceded multi-actor fiat and the utopian fiat argument. That was the second standard, and it was entirely dropped, which is game over. But then You say lit check, and use one, you can see there's no solvency out of it, which means they don't get their internal link. The app is literally out of nowhere, which means they don't actually solve the arguments. They don't get any response either. That was conceded out of the 1 and C second. No, it doesn't. Even if they have some, I set my timer on 5 years. Even if they win some reason why the literature check is still, it's still incredibly unrealistic because it's the fringe of literature now. The counter. Place it over first is not plans bad. They can read certain plans. They just can't read plans that fail linguistically from the resolution. For example, they can specify a type of reactor that solves all their offense means they can discuss some type of plans. Just not country spec because there's no net benefit to the counter interpretation. Second, a T version of the app solves. They can just read their actual resolution disadvantages, which is also beneficial. I get my geography sets like coal, and they can read the advantages on line by line. Your first advantage is over limiting. First, they under limit because they can bet any country back you 4 plans. The wiki shows that this topic is huge already. They can have thousands of apps. For example, they could defend a single country reactor, etc., which is thousands of apps. You can get a Germany reactors that are generation 4, or uranium reactors in Japan, etc. Your second standard is specificity, and it's overall too big. But this empirical not true. In fact, people often read this ads, and certain countries means that you can engage the app. I had China to the already. I'd rather just convince this a whole resolution app, which shows I can actually engage it. They say resolvability first, internal impact is always sound about some way. There's no reason why the random MSQs from the app set. Second, I control the internally planned systemic advocacies are very difficult with links back to them and are more complex, which make it impossible. They see research burdens, but I've already shown why I control the direction, the impact, things that can actually engage. Now the critique. Not going for the NC, you can see their framework for them. I'll really YouTube them on the face page, but they literally dropped a critique. They got their 20 seconds left, and their arguments were absolutely awful. Their first answer was framework. We should value the consequence of the plan first. The honest Lucy voting app will never change any political situation. We never get to pass the app. They're going to say it's a new response, but framework is first read in the 1 AR, so I get to respond to it there. Second, they conceded it controls the direction of all their impacts. It spills over policy, it shapes for understanding, which was the conceded Ludman for evidence on the critique page, which shows that overall spills over and is over a key third. We can just pick out of the representation. For example, you can advocate for weakness out of counter representation and pass the app in Japan and Taiwan as well, which is that beneficial, solves their offense. Your second response was literally incoherent. You say threats are real. One, the critique indicts the entire threat process. The fact that impact even the case is pretty messy, shows that threats are falsely not real. Second, even threats are real. Your instruction is so problematic, so portray China as threatening. We can have an app pass, but not have a portrayal of China as threatening action, which resolves their offense. This is generic anyway. This evidence was terrible. It's about threats in a vacuum, not about China, which the Japan evidence slays there. It's analyzed why China is always constructed that line by line. It's in the first leg of panel 4, which is specific to China representations, which they've entirely conceded the plan focus on. The plan paints China corrupt otherwise in politics. From our average, how we can focus on China and other people as well. It's a voting issue. They've considered under 5 that it shapes their policy understandings. So even if very matters that control the direction of all their impact by ensuring a better discussion. 20 seconds is not going to be enough time in the 1 AR to answer back a very nuanced critique. Link level was entirely conceded, which is game over. Also, just evolved to an epistemically modest paradigm. That's size of link compared to size of impact. I have full strength. I have a pretty much full strength link on the K, and the case makes very muddled. So you can vote right there. Now the case. They are dropping so many turns, I don't even know where to start the framing issues, and even if they win their impacts that way, they only answer back the impact defense, they can see the straight turn advantage 1, go to the plan for argument. Actually, not going for plan flux in the second overview though, that the app has no solvency process confirms they only have harm spreads, not a reason why the app actually works in the first place. They have the prohibition occurred across the world, they countries react with their natural show why it solves, vote negative on consumption, plan doesn't do anything, and they don't obligation advocate change the status quo. That was the second part of the case where they entirely conceded. Now the advantages. I had a straight turn to curl lip and they're conceding it entirely. I only put in particular impact into their scenario, but I read my own external impact scenarios, which they've entirely conceded, which is policy 101. It's in the second term with the Garmo, that they increase the risk of preemptive strikes that harm other people. This was not accident, it was based upon a deliberate attempt to strike other countries, which would cause nuclear war trigger the impacts, which is all been back to the framing out ways to hedge advantage and strike the link. It's very muddled. They're reverse side full straight turn disadvantage. Then it's their turn of pain. They incentivize bio warfare, which will cause extinction. People with proliferation would get other weapons instead, which would destroy the entire world. Look, Alex just messed up and conceded a straight turn to the advantage. My impact defense was his scenario, not mine. So I only took in his scenario. Now the hedge debate. They can see the second, they can see the first response and sees impact defense, econ declines resilient, and if power one actually occurs empirically shown, there's too much economic independencies. The response was that Brooks' and thousands of studies, mine is more recent, though, considers why the current climate wouldn't cause this impact to occur. They've also seen the second response to turn with the second response, which shows that the incentive, the hegemony's action back causes more violations, and incentive like preemptive wars, which outweighs offense empirically shown across other countries, which is like offense there. The round is really simple. The 1 AR just has no offense. Topicality is the easiest place to vote because multi-active fiat and trivial fiat was entirely conceded. Or you can go to the critique of undercovered, or the case mentions. Alex concedes a straight turn and no solvency claim. So you get negative presumption or a straight turn. Oh, sorry about that timer, by the way.
Right. I have 138 left.
Okay. Oh, here's your stand.
Okay, here is Nebel cheat, and then the hedge advantage, the prolific advantage, then the critique.
I assume the counter interpretation page.
Yes. Okay. Is everyone ready?
Yep.
The framing issue on theory is that we meet a basic semantic threshold which is necessary for you to look towards other pragmatic considerations. Raffi could see this, which means you look towards fairness in education. His only answer to this is that semantics are more important, and he extends the reason why Nebel proves semantics outweigh. But they've conceded a reason that in the context of debate, it is necessary to look towards pragmatics because experts have incentives to exaggerate the importance of semantics in the context of debate. We should specify why pragmatics are more important. That was a cover evidence, which was conceded. Now they've conceded education why it outweighs fairness. Their only education offense said they can't substantially engage with the rest of the average education, they can't engage with the rest of the app, but our over-limiting standard outweighs this and ensures the app loses every single debate. This forces the app flag standard because it forces the app to categorically ban nuclear power in every single country. Their answer to this is just that we can just ban it in a bunch of different countries. But this mid-checks argument answers this. We have to ensure that our advantage have to be based in the literature. We need to have people who say that Asian proliferation is bad or that Japanese proliferation is bad, ensure that they limit down the number of apps to something that is manageable. That means that our education offense outweighs because it ensures that while the negative is it's difficult for the negative to engage with the app. That's key to education, but the app literally cannot engage in any debates, whatever, which creates stale and repetitive debates because we just debate whether nuclear power is categorically bad in every single country. That proves that you don't vote on T. Hedge. They've conceded reasons why hegemony is key to solve great power. Where that solves their stricter proliferation. We didn't answer the biweapons argument, but we can contest the impact and say why our hedge advantage outweighs it to filter for war and deters enemy. They concede the extension of Brooks while 413 evidence and empirics go our way, and that is key to solve conflict, ensure that we deter enemies and have fast reaction times to conflicts for prevent them from escalating. That solves their biweapons conflict argument, and also that also solves their stricter. They say that prolif is key to deterrence, but that's not important. If hegemony also deters, that means we access an external impacts because we deter enemies while also ensuring that hegemony combats other conflicts. Now, if we've won that our threats are real, that this proves the creation shows that it's necessary for us. Our representations are true, and that defends our epistemology since it shows our threats are real, and that we do not otherwise China. That disproves the thesis of their critique argument ensures that you vote out because our epistemology is fine. Now, they said that we don't have a single solvency card. Obviously, we do. We explain why hegemony is key in the context of the show. Why prohibition. We said nuclear power is bad, and why prohibition would be good because it ensures that decrease in proliferation. Don't vote neg on presumption. This argument makes zero sense. It's extremely limiting. And the one I see now on the prolific advantage, they extend the reason why it's key to deterrence. So this is the answer on the advantage. The hedge advantage outweighs critique. It's a framework argument. The debate should center on the consequences of the plan. We'll concede that reps do matter, which means you allowed us to weigh the app against the critique. That means that you outweigh entirely. There is literally no extension and impact on the critique. There is no reason why it matters. They say if you ought to deliver that's irrelevant because we care about the hypothetical implication. The app, even if reps do matter, then our interpretation is better because it allows the app as well as the critique. Threats as real. They have we don't construct China as other because our threats are real. Hegemony is key to prevent conflict, which is our explanation on case. Good debate.
The ACNC speech docs?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to put the password in for this NC speech doc? Or you read it?
I don't know.
Oh, sure. I'll forward you the. Can I forward it in the entire email chain?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Actually, I'll just. I don't know how to forward each thing together. I'll just forward my speech separately. You can forward yours.
Okay, sure.
What's your email, Terrence?
It's my first initial last name, TLO.
Yeah.
at Gmail.
Okay. I just have to put the password in.
Yeah,
So,
so-
yeah. Appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you. Cool. Can you get the judges?
Oh, sweet Lawrence and Mr. Castillo. Okay.
Castillo went to the bathroom. I was never fun.
Oh. Momo.
Decision?
Yeah. Congrats to both debaters for making it to the quarterfinal round with the Greenhill Fall Classic. It's a 3-0 decision tonight. Congrats.
Okay. I probably could vote neg in some different places.
Wait, guys, do you want your RFPs to be recorded?
Okay. Okay.
I'll turn the camera on.
So I could probably vote neg in one or more places. I think the easiest place to vote neg is just this floating pig argument, which is dropped. I would grant a new 2AR answers to it. For example, a weighing of the framework arguments as fairness reasons for why he doesn't get the floating pig. That cross application is certainly not made in the 2AR. I also don't give any offense for why threats real is good for you. So for example, like apocalyptic threats against trying to motivate action, key of policymaking, et cetera, et cetera. As it is, I think the 2AR's extension is just I defend threats as real, but there's a risk of offense on this like threats bad sort of stuff. You can do the entire app. I'm not sure what the offensive argument for why the K is bad. So floating pig I think is the easiest way out of this debate.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add to that. That's really as far as my decision goes. I think the theory debate probably is a little messy. I think on substance, I think there's some issues in terms of this kind of I'm a little actually kind of persuaded with this. I'm not the claim that there is no solvency evidence for the app. Like the way you kind of articulate this claim in the 2AR is just kind of listening. But in terms of how what your solvency claims are, they just seem to be like arms cards, which you're referring to. And then the comparison between the I would also kind of probably vote on the prolip stuff on that turn. I think the strength of this is a completely conceded argument. His defense is only to your specific prolip stuff. So he is at conceded disadvantage, and there's defense on why edge may actually lead to more work. So.
Well, I didn't slog through the substance debate, so I just decided on, I think I can vote on threats. I think Lawrence is exactly right that there's no reason why the threat being real dissuades the argument, because the first card is that it's our perceptions that are fueling it, and so the threat might be real, but we exaggerate threats, or we can imagine threats about China. The evidence is specific, so I think that's where our defense undergoing. I think the 2AR is too reactive to like the extensions of the first standard and explaining like the thresholds on the actual like semantic arguments coming out of the Needle stuff. What I feel, I go back and forth and deciding if it's like pull trigger on the K, not to figure it all out. I think I would probably feel comfortable, at the very least, if not disregarding, but thinking he outweighs on the multi-actor unified utopian fiat arguments he makes. Just because I think that the argument you make is that it needs to be based in control and lit, but you're just not responding to his argument. You don't have a solvency of it because there's no connection between you and the lit. So I think at the point where that's true, then all of the impacts you're generating about why you have the best kind of real education are bad. And so that probably controls your turn there. But I have voted congrats.
Okay. Thank you all for judging.